Hi folks, today I'm answering a question that came in email. Ebony asked, I'm hoping to get some advice from you. I am providing yoni steam services for a lady who is battling cancer. I want to put the right herbal blend together for her healing, recovering, and pain management. What herbs would you suggest? Thanks for your question. So I have been in a position where, I've asked another herbalist for support on developing a formula for a client. So I really do appreciate this question. In this instance, it's tough because the person you're working with is experiencing something quite complex, and I honestly don't have enough information to responsibly provide a suggestion. Here's why. There are over 100 different types of cancers, and some herbs are contraindicated with certain types. There are many herbs that have, anti-cancer properties, but that anti-cancer, anti-tumor, anti-neoplastic action, that can mean really different things depending on the specific herb, because there are a number of ways that herbs or a drug can support reducing malignant cell overgrowth. Also, what stage is the cancer? What supplemental and pharmaceutical treatments is this person pursuing? What dietary and lifestyle changes has this person made? Where are they mentally and emotionally? What symptoms are they experiencing? What's their constitution? There's so much information, and you may have this information. I simply don't. And for me, working with any person individually, requires that I get to know them, their health journey, the habits that they have created for themselves, and if they're supportive or not supportive towards their well-being, learning about their constitution, and I do that through my consultation process. And because I don't have this information that I require in order to feel responsible and just in integrity in the way that I like to operate in my work, I can't provide an herb recommendation here. It's not like a cold or a stomach bug or a sprained ankle. I'm gonna be up at night thinking about this person whom I've never met. I'm also thinking of you. So let's just take this one step ahead, think it one step through. Say I suggest a blend, you offer the service, you're the ones who's supporting them. So what will happen when the client has a question or a reaction, be it positive or adverse? They're going to ask you and want to discuss it with you. But because I've created the blend, how will you respond? Will you feel equipped, confident, proficient to answer, troubleshoot, about adverse reactions, or will you feel like a deer in headlights and have to come back to me for the answer? So I might suggest herbs that you're not necessarily familiar with. And while I'll trust you to do your research, the best way that we learn about herbs is through our direct experience with them. I mentioned in the beginning that yes, I totally asked another herbalist for suggestions on a formula for a client. Of course, we turn to each other for help and advice and recommendations. That other herbalist, she was very helpful. She specialized in the condition, had years of experience. I trusted her recommendations, and I crafted my formula based on them, and the person didn't feel any improvement. Thankfully, they also didn't feel worse, but I had no experience with the primary herb in the formula. Years later, with continued study, now I know my preparation was not appropriate and my dosage recommendations were totally off. And when the client, and I spoke, not only did I just feel disappointed, but I also felt ill-equipped. I didn't know what to say, didn't know how to make another recommendation. So I've learned a lot since that experience, and in hindsight, I should have just referred my client to this herbalist who specialized in helping people through that condition. That would have been the best care for my client. So let us know in the comments if you've had this experience too. I think as healers and practitioners, we want to help, but sometimes that help actually comes in the form of referring them to someone else. Since then, anytime someone reaches out and they want to work together, I think about whether or not I can support them based on where I am on my plant path. I know that herbal medicine is supportive for everyone in some capacity based on what they're experiencing, just who they are. Plants are the most compatible medicine with people, but can I help them in the way that they desire to be cared for? That's not always a yes, when it's a no, I try to point them towards someone else or toward other resources. Which brings me to my final point. I think we really need to be just aware of our limits in the work, honest with people about the care that we can provide. I think if you're comfortable, or you're not comfortable rather, or at the place in your plant path where you can develop a custom formula for your client that specifically helps with their cancer or their treatment side effects, then communicate that and think about how can you support them and just keep studying. Work with the plants you have relationships with and get to know them better, because you may learn that they can be supportive for your client in another way that you are not necessarily familiar with yet. You know, people dedicate their entire careers to understanding cancer, so learn as much about what she is experiencing as you can, and most importantly, learn your client. And I think it's helpful to also just contain the work. For example, you know, if she wants to focus on pain management, then learn about the different types of pain. Not all pain is the same. There can be pain from the tumor if it's pressing on bones or nerves or organs, pain from chemotherapy and radiation treatment, pain from surgery recovery. You know, if you keep the work contained and you learn about the pain she's experiencing, just as an example, that keeps your research and your formulary a little bit more focused. And keep in mind, you know, with everything that we do know about herbal medicine and the body, there's so much more that we don't know. And we can never fully predict, like, how will someone respond to the medicine, because we are truly all different. So if this person is someone that you know, they trust you, they want to work with you, I would simply be open about your experience, your comfortability, and the container and the capacity in which you can responsibly support them. If steaming is your specialty, you know, you could keep it super simple. Start with water, then one herb, see how she responds, then gradually add another. This practice in and of itself is very relaxing. And question, you know, if steaming is the most appropriate preparation for what she's experiencing too. She will likely need internal herbal support depending on the treatment and her symptoms and her desires. So it's not the answer that you were looking for, but I do hope it helps. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified next time we release a new video.